does though for the property taxes. He does, claims he does.
I think Amy's right. A lot of people think they're paying, yeah, they're writing a check to the HOA and they think they're paying the taxes.
Yeah.
They assume it's included, and then when you call them, haven't paid your taxes, what do you, of course I did. I wrote you a check.
Yeah.
So like the 2652, is that a unit?
Yeah, those are the account,
Is
that's
that-
the account number, those are the.
So that's like 1/4, that's
Yes,
basically.
yeah. 1/4 of 1 unit.
55? 55?
No, we're just gonna talk about it.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And thank you for the reminder, Gary.
So we'll call our meeting to order. Everybody sign their life away.
This is what the new king did.
I need a pen. Approval of the minutes from January 21. Anybody have any changes or?
I thought there was one, but I guess Bob Chase is the president of Medcare. I thought he used to be the fire chief, that's what you
Well,
said.
he is the president of Medicare, but he's also the fire chief for
Auburn,
Auburn.
yeah. I thought that we had talked that he was passed, but she put president in there anyway, so.
Well,
After that.
he is president of
Right.
Medicare.
So I guess I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of the January 21st town area selectmen's meeting.
I'll second that.
All those in favor? So moved. Any adjustments to the agenda?
The only thing that I forgot to put on the agenda that we may want to talk about is posting roads.
All right. I say that every year. So I'll put that on the end and we'll get, and we'd probably do that at David's report. We can combine that?
Yep.
Okay. That makes sense to everyone. I just saw him, I mean, I'm off topic here, but I just saw the state spreading salt on my way
It
down.
was icy earlier today.
It was freezing and raining, and I had to go to get my tire fixed. It was like sleeting.
Yeah, I was, saw the truck coming, was surprised to see it, and then saw it was salting, which, I'll stay on topic, I promise.
Okay.
Any announcements? Any public comment? New business. Consider and discuss setting a date for special town meeting to discuss disposition of foreclosure of a quarter share units at the Summit and the Jordan Hotel. So I would like you to take us through I'd like to understand everything about it. I know we've had lots of conversation about this, but if we can understand what it is before we go on to about
Sure.
a special town meeting, that work for you guys?
Yeah.
All right.
So, we're gonna start at the beginning. Every year we commit taxes, and a bill is created for every quarter share and parcel in town. And if you don't pay your taxes on the due dates, and there's a remaining balance on that between the 8th month and the 12th month from the commitment date, we're required by law to send out 30-day notices and let people know that they're in risk of a lien being placed on their property.
And the 30-day notice is it's going to lien if you don't pay in 30 days.
That's correct. So, once you do that, a copy of that lien paperwork that we send to them goes to the registry and is recorded at the registry with a book and page, so anybody can look for that. Now, state law states that after you lien it, 18 months, it automatically forecloses. And the only way you can stop a foreclosure is to process a waiver of foreclosure. And that's a document that has to be signed off by the treasurer and submitted to the registry of deeds. So, not entirely sure when we decided that we were not going to foreclose on the quarter shares at the hotels, but I believe it was sometime around 2010.
That was when the town meeting vote said, and did we say we're not foreclosing, or did we say we don't want them back? And I guess that's trivial, but I don't know if that's trivial. I mean, does anybody know what that vote was? Do you guys remember what? I know the intent was that we didn't want them back because we thought we had to pay HOA fees.
Okay. So, I mean, I can certainly do a to-do list and look at the town report and try to figure out
What we voted
what
on.
we voted on. I
guys
have not done that. I
You guys
believe.
remember that? I'm not trying to add more work, Amy, this is a pitch.
I wouldn't remember the date, no.
I don't remember exactly what the vote was. I know the intent was to not take them back, but, Brooks, you don't remember that, do you? All right. I'm not trying to add work, Amy, if it's.
Nope. But let's just get it right.
Yeah.
What year was that?
We're gonna have to look.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's right,
that,
okay.
there's the dilemma.
Okay,
But my guess it's somewhere is in the 2009 to 11 timeframe.
okay.
10 years ago-ish?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's, before that you didn't have a ton of them, but once we went into the economic downturn and the real estate market went south,
Hmm. Right.
but we'll come back with you with all
Yeah,
of that
Yep.
information. So I've learned some stuff. I learned that it is a rather complex, lien law is very complex. So the lien just automatically forecloses. You put a lien on a property, they don't pay, you don't waive it, it automatically forecloses. Now, the town's responsibility is to send out the notices in a timely manner. So you have to send out the 30-day notices 8 to 12 months from the time you commit. And then you have to send out a notice from 45 to 30 days before you're going to automatically foreclose. And we went through, you're gonna find in here, we went through each one of the quarter share accounts to see if we sent those out. We have copies of the receipts or the green cards or the letters or whatever. And then, you know, to look through those and make sure, hey, do we have all the proper documentation? So when we go to town meeting and ask the voters, realistically, you're probably not getting $1,570.41 as of today for a one-bedroom unit at the Jordan.
But these are the ones that paperwork's correct, everything, these are the
So
ones that,
if you
these are the
see-
ones that we theoretically own, or
If you
technically own.
We own all of them. Because it's separate, so once you lien, it forecloses. Whether or not you do whether or not we send out the notices or not. If we don't send out the notices in a timely manner, and I'm talking about the foreclosure notice, so I don't send out the foreclosure notice within 45 days of foreclosure. That's on the town to do it again and give them an additional 45 days so that they have an opportunity to pay off their taxes. But the foreclosure happened,
Okay.
okay?
So do we owe any of these people the 45 days?
Yeah, there's gonna be a couple of them. I wanna say there's like 6 or 7 of
Okay.
them that we will have to
Good,
do that.
all right.
And what you'll see is when you see a yes and it's highlighted, and at least there's one of them, that is a unit that we can sell.
You can't see the highlight, well, it's grayed, I guess.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple of them that we don't.
Okay.
So, So that's where we're at with that. And that's how we got here. Now, I provided the written statement from MMA Legal Services that clearly states that the town is not responsible for maintenance fees at either of the hotels, even though we did foreclose on these units.
Yep.
We do have to disclose to the buyer that the HOA may or may not go after them for those HOA fees in the time frame that we owned it. So, and we have to let them know that. But we are not responsible for those HOA fees. So, that's where we're at, and, you know, I mean, the number is staggering. I think that we're fairly close to half of this number is actual principal, and the rest are costs and interest.
So it says bankruptcy,
Mm.
what, I mean, do we just, is that, are those easy to, not easy, but are those ones we just need to write off?
So bankruptcy is another caveat to lien law, and we know that we have paperwork in the file that says that they were, that there was bankruptcy started. Now, whether or not the bankruptcy was completed, that's another matter, and that's when, after the bankruptcy process is completed, we can submit the 45-day notices out to them and say, you're gonna be foreclosed on. So I think there's like 4 of them that have bankruptcy documentation in it. We gotta get copies of the ending foreclosure document, the ending bankruptcy document to see if they, what the court's results of the bankruptcy is in relation to the quarter share.
Okay.
Is that at the registry?
It should be.
Mm-hmm. Then we give them another 45 days?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, do you know if any of these are the same owner?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, there are a couple.
Yeah, so there's like 25 at the Jordan, but is there 20 people who own 25 units?
Maybe 23
Yeah.
people own
Okay.
25 units.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah,
maybe 20.
yeah.
Well, you have to send them for each account anyway.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah. Unless they're commingled onto one bill. There are a couple of them that have multiple units on one bill, so they own unit 324 and 326. And they're adjoining units, so there's one bill, and then we only have to send out the one notice for that one bill.
Okay.
okay. You guys got any questions for Amy or Barb? Barb, sounds like you're right in the middle of this.
Mhm. Well, I created the spreadsheet. So I have a question, if it's okay.
Mm.
So going back to the bankruptcy, we need to get the foreclosing document, the bankruptcy document,
The ending,
the ending,
yeah.
and then we can send them another 45-day notice
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
for the back stuff?
Well, so the town should not have sent out 45-day notices for the time period in which when the bankruptcy was filed to the result of the bankruptcy,
Oh.
because collections are supposed to stop. When you file for bankruptcy, collections are just supposed to stop.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is an attempt to collect a debt, so the town should not have sent those out. So we would have to resend them out because they were just, discarded. They knew that the town didn't have any authority to foreclose on their property. I mean, it foreclosed anyway, but there was no authority on the town's behalf to actually collect the debt in that time period.
Do we
Some-
know if some of these, like in 2009, if that's the same owner now or a different owner or? I'm just wondering
I
if
think
it
it's the
went into
same owner.
bankruptcy, somebody
it's the
else could
same
have
owner,
picked it
too.
up.
I think it's the same owner.
Now, we can pull the individual files on these because we opened up each one of the accounts and it'll tell you if they billed it to a different person.
Because before they sell, they're supposed to pay off the taxes.
See, these are, I won't be surprised if some of these sold and never had a title search done on them to know that the taxes were owed. We've had a couple of situations where somebody gave a quarter share to their friend and never told them that there was back taxes, and then they go to pay their taxes and they're paying off back taxes, and then it gets liened and they're all upset, and it's like, well, when you get a gift, sometimes you gotta check and make sure the gift isn't
You want the
actually-
gift.
Yeah, that's right. So, yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised about that because a lot of, like, at one point, people were selling these on Craigslist for $100. So,
I don't know if that stopped. Has that stopped?
yeah. Oh, yeah. And you know, when we're looking at the tax transfer sheets, these are upticking for sure. You know, 1-bedroom units are selling for $2,000. So there, and we can see that through that sales analysis through the tax transfer that goes through the state. Some people aren't doing that though. That's the issue, is they don't know that they have to do the tax transfer sheet and the deed. They're just like, oh, here's your bill of sale, like you're selling a car. They're trying to sell these like they're selling a car, and you can't do that. There's a deed associated with these units, so.
So getting back to Tink's question, I'm confident that they're all the same owner. And the reason is because each folder has an owner's name.
Yeah.
And if I was flipping through the papers, if I saw a different name, it would accuse me and say, oh, what's going on here? It's in the wrong folder.
Was just the question I had.
Yep, I'm confident that they are.
Well, we wouldn't change them.
Oh, we wouldn't change them because we wouldn't be aware.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
In our system, they're the same.
Yeah, because they haven't executed the sale correctly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the biggest problem for me from the beginning has been, we went against what the voters asked us to do. That's the problem. Not intentionally, but that's the problem. And last time we spoke, we knew we did that, but we didn't know how much we did. Now we know exactly. Now we did that for $58,000 worth of tax debt. We the town voted to do one thing, and we did something else. Had we sent out the stop foreclosure notices, we would have been okay, but we didn't. And this is all over a number of years, and this is not blaming anybody. This is just history. Can't fix that. Put it in the review, moving forward. But I think we need to let the town know that that there was a vote that said don't. And I hope I'm not making that up.
No, there was a vote.
Yeah,
Every year I've been here that said,
we're not taking them back.
yeah.
So, and we were doing that because we thought we would have to pay the HOA fees, which was incorrect. So there's been a calamity of errors on this thing.
Yeah.
But it is what it is, and that's history, so we move forward. We take them back, what are our options if we take them back? We can sell them.
Mhm.
Are there, coming back to timeshare companies we want to get involved with, and we just give them to them and let them sell them? Is there, we're going to go to the voters and tell them what we did,
Mhm.
and then say, here's our options moving forward.
So I produced a special town meeting warrant because we have to go to the voters and we have to tell them what happened, how we got here, and we have to ask them for permission to sell these. And we can't be, we currently have an article at town meeting that says, to see if the town will authorize the selectmen to dispose of tax-acquired property for principal, cost, and interest, and in many cases, you know, you're not gonna get that. So I talked to Katsvikis about, like, well, what do we wanna do here? And he said that it should be as broad as possible, to dispose of tax acquired property on such terms and conditions that the board deems advisable. So by no means, I left the dates open on this because we still have some questions and we're not ready, and I would rather just go into town meeting, tell the people like of Newry that this is what happened, and we can sit on them and do nothing, but that isn't getting us anywhere because we're not getting any tax dollars, and the condo association is stuck because if they're not paying us, in likelihood they're probably not paying them. So they're, you know, there's 30-something units that need to be paying them as well as us. And getting these into the hands of people that are willing to pay is our goal. So although that is an option, it doesn't really, it's not in our best interest. But I think we need to have a conversation because some of this stuff goes back to 2009 and adds a lot of taxes, and we're not going to collect that. So we're going to end up writing off.
The total was less than I thought, if I'm reading it right. The total cost is lower right-hand one, right? So like that, the first one is $1,570.41.
Yeah. So here are your totals for the.
For everything, yeah, so when you look at the total totals, I think we're in trouble, but like you just flip through,
But that's for all the years.
right, I mean, just flip through, here's one for $2,500.
Mm-hmm.
I saw something for 3. There's one for 27. Just look at the big numbers. Another one for 25, that's bankruptcy, so we got, here's one for $4,000.
One's for $5,411.05.
Is that a Jordan one?
Yes.
All right, so that's the big one,
Mm-hmm.
So that 54 we're probably not gonna get, the $4,000 we're not probably gonna get, but the 25s and downs, there's a chance you could get that.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't sell it for $2,000 plus the 25, we'd sell it for the 2,500.
So currently, we could put them out right now for, you know, not less than $1,500 on this one or whatever, because the town meeting warrant article we're operating under right now allows us to do that. So you are authorized to dispose of tax acquired property for tax liens and interest. So that total number at the bottom is covering all that tax liens and interest.
Right.
But I think we're gonna get into situations, and we don't wanna hold on to this stuff. We wanna dispose of it, like at one lump sum.
Right,
That we're gonna get into situations where we're not gonna get that. So we're either gonna have a town meeting warrant before we try to sell it or after, and I think it's cleaner if we just have the authority to sell it for whatever we can get for it. And that way, when we're getting offers, we can take the offers there, issue quitclaim deeds, and be done with the business.
Yeah. Then there won't be people changing their mind because they gotta wait 2 weeks and they say, I don't think I wanna spend that.
Or, yeah, or something.
but you're not suggesting we do anything until we tell the town what happened.
I think you need to tell the town what happened.
Right, so that happens first.
Yeah.
And I think it feels wrong to, I know, so we voted that we could get rid of stuff, tax acquired property, we have a vote but we also have a vote that says we're not taking these back.
Right.
So there's a conflict there somewhere.
Yep.
That we need to work our way through. And I think for a lot of these, we probably can get the tax acquired. I mean, I think we probably can, so maybe we're not gonna get 58 back, but we may be able to get 40 back, 45 back.
Right.
So we got a.
Yeah, I mean, I think at some point when you say this, right here is our liability as of today for these units. And
Does that change every day?
it changes every day.
Interest every day.
Yeah,
So-
that makes it easy to figure out. Right.
So I think we need to just talk to the voters about this is what, if worst case scenario we had to write off, this is what we'd have to write off.
Right.
But we're gonna collect something, and then we have to write off the difference.
Yep.
And we need to have that conversation with them.
Yep.
I think the town has to have a conversation with the condo associations and say, it might be really difficult for us to sell those for even close to what they're selling right now, with the caveat that they could go after them for 12 years worth of HOA fees.
Okay.
So
So that's.
I think that we have to have that conversation with the condo association, because
Right.
we
That's
have
what
to
they-
disclose it in the
Yeah,
sale.
Right. Yep. So what they're probably gonna say is, let's sell them for the tax acquired, what's owed on taxes and association fees, which is probably gonna double this number, right?
Or more, probably
Yeah.
more.
No, but we don't care about what the association fees are. We
Right.
tell them that these people it's owed, and we get what we need out of it.
And the other thing we do is sell it back to the,
HOA.
HOA,
I mean,
if they
you
wanna
know,
buy it.
if we're gonna negotiate, do we sell it back to the HOA for a number and say, hey, get them off, you know, so you're not obviously gonna sell them, I mean, the Summit is the easy number, you know, give us $10,000 and they're yours, and do with what you want.
Or we could enter an agreement with each of the condo associations and say, we're gonna hand these over to you, we're gonna have you sell them, we're gonna split the difference, because we know that they owe you HOA fees and they owe the town taxes. So we're both gonna get something,
Whatever you sell it for.
whatever you sell it, we
divide by two.
split it 50-50, and we enter into an agreement with the condo association.
Right. Right. So I think what we wanna do, or my opinion is, when we go to the special town meeting, we wanna have that plan in place. We're not, you know, if that's the way we're gonna go, we wanna have that plan in place. That make sense to you guys?
And that way, everybody knows we're transparent about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We're telling people, this is what we're planning on doing. And I guess that might be the first thing to do, is to
Do we-
work out an agreement with the condo associations.
do we talk to Sunday River, or do we talk to the condo association? Because Sunday River is their managing agent, but
Right, so I don't know if it's clear to you guys, but there's, Sunday River doesn't own the hotels. You know what I mean?
Right.
So there's a Jordan HOA, there's a Summit HOA. Sunday River happens to manage those HOAs. But
But they manage it for
the HOA hires them to manage it.
right. So I guess we have that conversation with the HOAs.
Well, we can have it with Sunday River, but probably they can't do anything until HOA.
Sunday River,
And
yeah,
they decide what they wanna do.
Sunday River is separate.
Yeah, I know, it's a management company.
You know, it's, I mean, you know, it's payroll. We
Yeah.
farm out payroll.
Yeah.
Sunday River's like the payroll, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's farmed out, it's not,
Yeah.
if they just happen to be the managers. The HOAs could use anybody to be the managers. So I think you're right, Gary, the next conversation's with the HOAs to say, okay, we have $47,000 worth of tax acquired property sitting on the books. That we own, and we can prove we own, that we will allow you to sell, with the idea that we'll split whatever you sell it for. If you sell it for $1, we each get 50 cents.
yeah. That way we both get somewhat whole on HOA fees as well as taxes.
But there's probably gonna be cost to selling them. They're not gonna sell, they're not real estate agents.
Well, they are selling them, because you can see where the condo association are selling off units to,
But they must be paying a lawyer to,
I don't know.
so, I mean, I would assume there's some cost to selling it that would be, so it would be what you sell it for minus the cost. I think, what I'm trying to avoid is any more, oh, I didn't see that, oh shit, I wish I knew that. And I don't know how do you find them all? Because this one just seems to have you fraught.
Well, I mean, I don't know how they're operating, so I guess that is a very good question. If they're not selling them themselves and they have a real estate agent selling these units for them.
I don't think it's a real estate agent, because I don't think a real estate agent can make it up. There's not enough commission in it for the real estate agents to do it.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're selling them, but I think there's probably a third party involved, a lawyer or a collection agency or something.
I know that they have a collection agency at the summit, and that has been discussed. They don't, I've never talked to them about how they sell the units that they own. And if they're not doing this anymore, because that's how it started, is, Sunday River Realty sold off these units on behalf of the condo association.
Right.
So I don't know how that's working anymore, and if that's not the answer, I don't know. This is gonna sound terrible, but the town doesn't have to share anything.
Agreed.
So,
Yeah, no, agreed.
I think that if we can work together and they have a mechanism to sell the units, and they work with condo owners that want to sell the units, and they have people that are willing, that are interested in the units and come to them, then this sounds like it's gonna work. If that's not what's happening, then yeah, we might need to rethink, do we just sell them ourselves? Yeah, the quitclaim deed's probably gonna cost $150 for our attorney to draft, and
How do we sell them ourselves? Post
we
it on the website?
we put them out to auction, put them in the paper, and we
Which
bid them out.
auction? The homeowners associations have done auctions. And I think they do it, they send it to their ownership and say,
Yeah, do you want another quarter?
we got these, highest bidder.
Yeah.
Minimum blank, highest bidder. And I've gotten rid of some of them that way.
Okay. I mean,
But
if that's,
I think those were probably ones that didn't owe taxes. They must have been, because they couldn't have been selling if they owed taxes.
they were, then they were paying us off.
Oh,
And
okay.
that's the way it was happening for a long, long time,
Good,
and then stopped happening.
okay. So we go to the homeowners associations next. The Peter Melendijk and Karen Gary, right?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Start there and.
What kind of a time frame can we get them involved?
I don't know. I have Karen's email. I can email Karen. I don't have Peter's
I
email.
have Peter's.
So what I think we should do is draft an agreement, and Ellsworth has an agreement with their managing entity. Maybe we kind of usurp that and add in and see if they're even willing.
I would, we can do it that, but before we go through the work of drafting an agreement, I'd open the dialogue. Okay, here's where we are. 58, 9/11, you wouldn't be doing it that way, you'd be doing it, here's where we are, we have $47,000 or $57,000 worth of, $50,000 worth of stuff due to us in taxes. We're willing to, figure out the best way to do it. One of the things we talked about at a selectmen's meeting was, do we, sell them and we'll just split the cost? You can have them.
Yep.
They won't have them.
No, you can sell them for us, and we
Yeah.
split the profits.
Right.
That's really how it,
Yeah, but if we're selling them for less in value, there isn't any profit.
So, or the fact,
What we split, what the number is, I understand that.
and I'm thinking out loud, Amy, but the other option would be to go to them and say, we'll, how much will you give us? Make us an offer. You can have them all. Make us an offer.
I have no idea.
And they haven't,
I have crickets.
but they probably don't know the number. I mean, this is the first time that we've
Mm.
seen this number, right? So go back to them and say, make us an offer.
Yeah.
And let them,
There might be some other outfit out there that deals in those quarter shares that might be interested in buying them, you know? Besides the Summit, I mean, there's all kinds of them, see it all the time. There might be some company that that's what they do.
right, there are those get me out of my timeshare companies, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Which I guess we could enlist,
Yeah.
but I don't know where we wanna start there. I
No,
think
I
it's,
don't either.
I don't know
but
if we,
just-
I don't know if we can, because we would have to quitclaim deed them to us. And then we'd have a deed.
but if we don't know what association dues, all we'd be doing is taking these off the tax roll. My thought is, open the conversation with them, and they need, you know, they need to answer. But what do you wanna do? See where their head is, and
Yeah.
go from there, and then,
I mean, Karen was more open about, hey, we have 10 units. And
she got less of a problem.
She certainly has less of a problem.
Mhm.
Yeah, she's like, this probably makes sense for us to take these over, and I'm like, yeah. But if I was a business person, even if I was a president, I would be like, that sounds great, but why don't you put that in writing, and then I have something to show my board and have a conversation about. But,
And they gotta understand that we have to get the, you know, it's not, because you're not dealing with an individual, you're dealing with a municipality, and the municipality needs to vote. But we wanna give them something to vote on.
yeah,
They're both smart, I mean, they're not, this isn't gonna be, they'll get it.
Yeah.
Karen was a former mayor of Portland.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if she ever dealt with this, but
Right.
it's not like she's unaware of how municipalities work.
Yeah.
So,
some of her board members were not quite so understanding, but yeah. Mhm.
right.
Yeah.
A lot of information.
So what do you
Thank
want me
for
to
the
do?
work. Yeah, what do you guys,
Well, I think we need to have a special town meeting for this.
but I'm not ready to go there until we know what we have to
Well-
offer.
It pushes them along to make them make up a decision too.
Mm-hmm.
Because it doesn't sound like they're doing much of a decision making.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a conversation with both of them.
But the other piece that clouds the conversation, if you would, is the whole, we're not gonna collect taxes anymore, we're gonna have you do it. Which is separate, but that's intertwined in this, right? And I think that's what has them off, I think that's what has them off. Like, wait a minute, you want us to collect the taxes? That's what I think has them off. And they're two separate issues. You guys with me on that? Are you with me on that? It's two separate issues. One is the back taxes.
Yeah.
It's got nothing to do with what we do.
Further on.
Yeah, but the second thing on the table that we need to figure out is, do we want to bill the HOAs as a whole and have them worry about the taxes? So, and I think, Amy, that's probably why we're not getting responses, because it's,
I'm not even getting responses on that.
right, but that's such a bigger deal that they're probably trying to figure out the answers to that.
But that's our decision to do that, not necessarily theirs.
It is, but I think we want to be careful how we present that. You know, I mean, there's the argument of, well, what do I get for my taxes? You're not even gonna send out the bill?
Oh, yeah, I know, we hear that all the time.
Yeah, right, and whether that's right, wrong, and different, but,
Well, the road that they drive to get there is paved and has
Right.
been is a really good pavement too. You know what I mean? Like, it has been paved within the last 10 years. We pay for their trash. We pay for what we pay for every other
right.
taxpayer in Newry.
And please don't take us on trying to pick sides, but they just spent a ton of money on the road that goes from the town road to the hotel. So that'll be a bone of contention, that'll be a bone of contention. But,
Always is.
yeah. I mean, there's just a lot of pieces and parts to this. But Tink, I think you're correct. The town has the right, according to, we have the right to do that.
Financially, it's a no-brainer. It's the change. It's just the change that it's gonna take for, it's a change in the way we do things. And change is difficult.
Right.
So, yeah, no, but the only reason I looked into it was because I was approached by them saying, what can you do so we can get better control over, you know, turning these units around to people that will pay?
So, you're right, I mean, that's, in thinking about this, and obviously I've been thinking about this for 3 weeks, since whenever we had that first meeting, and you told us we owned them. This is about the advantage to the HOA, take money out of it, take time, money, all that. The advantage to the HOA of collecting the taxes is now they have control. The disadvantage, the disadvantage is it's gonna cost them to have that control. Just like it costs the town to send out those tax bills, it's gonna cost the HOA to send out those tax bills. And I don't think they have the expertise to lien property and all that sort of stuff, which the town does. But it's gonna, take the cost out of it, it's about control. And I would think it'd be an advantage to the HOA to have control of, they don't have to wait for us to lien property because, okay, you gotta lien this property, it's gonna bring you $50 in taxes, and it's gonna cost you $500 to get it done.
Well, they can lean the property just like anybody else. I mean, if I wonder why somebody doesn't pay their phone bill, I can lien their property because they didn't pay the bill.
But the town's gonna be in front of you, right?
It would be, yes, if that was the case.
Yeah.
But
So,
then
maybe
they
you're
would
right,
be-
maybe you're right, Tank, maybe they should just start leaning people that don't pay their
Well,
HOA fees.
And they used to do that. That's how they auctioned them off. So I think that so when I first looked at this, I'm like, wow, well, hey, the ordinance totally makes sense. They're already sending out these bills. They're already sending out their maintenance fees quarterly, and those bills are being sent to them. All we have to do is provide them unit this, A, has to pay this quarter, and we can provide them all of that information, and they're just adding those amounts to what they're already sending out.
I don't think that's the hard part. I think the hard part is leaning the property. When someone doesn't pay, that's the hard part.
We wouldn't leave them high and dry, but I don't think they would have as much of a problem as we do, because if you don't pay the HOA, you don't use the unit. You don't pay the town, and you pay your HOA, you
Right.
get to use
Yeah.
the unit.
Understood.
So I think that there's more incentive for them to pay the HOA, whatever it is, whether it's the tax bill and the maintenance fees, or it's just the maintenance fees, because then they get to use their unit, and they get the sales from that unit being rented. We don't have that.
You're talking about the club or the whatever, you're talking about the reason why you wanna pay them. What I'm talking about is the actual, work that it takes, the paperwork, the documentation that it signs to lien a property. You guys know how to do that. I don't know if the HOA knows how to do that.
So, but what I'm saying is they're gonna have way less than what we have. When you go to lien, and they're not able to get their, excuse me, but the amount of, you get a check, right? You get a check when your unit, you haven't used your unit for that quarter and somebody rented out the unit, you
Right.
get a check.
Right.
So there's a financial incentive for them to pay their HOA fees.
Right.
Now, if their taxes are included in that HOA fee, then they want to get their money, or they want to break even and they want to have the ability to REI that someplace else, or whatever they're doing. There is a tangible financial expectation. If I pay this bill, I get money back because it was rented or whatever. We don't have that. That's why we have so many of them to lien. I don't even think they will have half as many as we do because of that
So
that
wait-
correlation.
So Amy, don't take this wrong, but we're making assumptions. you know, we're making assumptions for that. I don't know this, but I would assume that there are condo docs that says if you don't pay your HOA fees, you can't use your unit and you don't get the rental income. Doesn't say that about taxes. So the condo docs would have to change. But again, I'm making that up. I don't know any of that. So we can go round and round all night. I guess the point I want to make is that you guys understand that it's two separate conversations. One is about getting rid of the tax debt that we have for the town. That's what's the beginning of our conversation. We have to worry about that. The second piece is who collects the taxes on it going forward. But that's a separate conversation that's got all kinds of pieces and parts to it. You're absolutely right, Amy. They probably do have more incentives to make people pay, but I'm guessing that there's probably also condo docs that say, nothing about taxes. I don't know that. I'm guessing. That's a straight guess, you know, but rather than us guess,
Well,
I'm back to where Gary was 15 minutes ago when he said, so I guess we start with talking to the HOAs.
Can we set up a meeting with them?
I can ask, sure.
And so that we can all sit down and so we can all get on the same page? I mean, like you said,
They're two separate
They're
things,
two
though.
separate
Yeah.
things.
But yes, I'm sure.
so that we'll know what they're thinking, they'll know what we're thinking, and whether we can compromise and come up with, like she's saying, if we add their taxes onto their other fees, then it's all one bill.
Makes perfect sense. But
But
people already think it's one bill. Yeah.
And it is one bill in other associations. There are towns that have already doing this, and it is one bill.
Right.
It's one bill that gets sent out. It's not like we're asking the HOAs to note a separate bill. It gets incorporated with those fees.
I got it. But you understand what I'm saying? But if it's, and I know that if you don't pay your fees, you can't use your unit. But I don't know that that includes taxes. And I'm sure that that's something that they signed off on, you know? I understand that if I don't pay my taxes, if I don't pay my fees, I can't use my unit. I got that. So when I bought the damn thing, that was part of the agreement. But it doesn't say anything about taxes, I don't think. Maybe it does. So you're right,
let's get a joint meeting with them, I think, so that we can, you know, they can make, somebody there must, you know, we're relying a lot on Amy to come up with all this laws and stuff that governs our
Right.
part of it. So they must have somebody that does their thing. So maybe we can get together and kind of get the best of both worlds and come up with something. I don't know.
yeah, I'm with you. And we need to have we need to go into it, I think, with two separate conversations. One about the old tax bills, and the second about what do we want to do going forward. They're not the same conversation.
They're not, but I mean, if we decided that, if we could do what we were talking about, sell these, you know, and hopefully we'll get what we need and split it. They're getting their fee, half of their fees, we're getting half of ours. They're all going back, they get to use them again, and going forward, if they combine the two fees, you know, the unit people or owners are paying both. When the HOAs get their tax money, they just give it back to the town, which, you know, we've talked about that too. And that all makes sense, so whether, you know, getting together with them and discussing it, you know, see what they say. And if it doesn't work, then in some ways, we have the right to do that anyway.
If it doesn't work, if it doesn't work, we have to go to the town. We don't have to do anything, but if it doesn't work, I think we owe the town an explanation as to why we're selling the units we said we wouldn't sell.
Well, I almost think we need to do that.
Right.
Before we start negotiating, so that everybody understands what's going on. And my thinking is that we need to have a special town meeting to do that. And I'll make a motion that we have a special town meeting within 20 days to explain this to the town.
The challenge is though, and if we want to do it that way, do it that way. But my concern is we're going to explain to the town then we're gonna have to come back, I guess we don't have to, but do we need to come back to them to explain what we're gonna do?
Well, if they,
Or do we just make, it, you know,
well, if we go to the town and we explain what the situation is, and they leave it up to us to try to bail us out of this, then we should be all right, if it's worded that way.
It is worded that way.
That's what I was reading.
Mhm.
yeah, if that's the way you guys wanna go.
Well, that's gonna be one of the, I think the first steps is to let the townspeople know.
Right.
And then maybe we move forward with the joint meetings and see if anything be worked out, and if it can't, then,
Sell them. Assuming the town says go ahead and sell them.
well, if they agree to vote on this, they're giving us permission to do what we feel is the best interest of the town.
Yeah, which have already voted and said yes.
Yeah.
No. Right now, we've only voted on principal, cost, and interest.
Oh, not less than.
Not less than. So that's why we have to go back and ask them for a broader
Yep.
definition of disposition, so that, you know, if you can't get that, you're not stuck with a unit.
Yeah, if that's what you guys are thinking we should do.
Well, I think that's one of the first steps, that we need to let the town know what's going on, the way I feel about it. And then we go about the next steps, but they've kind of given us their blessing to do what we have to do to get rid of it.
Okay? Yeah, I mean, it's chicken and egg stuff, right?
Yeah,
The town's gotta say, yes, you can do it before we can negotiate anything with anybody else, and,
For anything less than cost, principles, and interest.
right, but if we wanna say what it is to the town, we need to negotiate with the HOAs. Not talk to the HOAs. So you're recommending we have a town meeting within 20 days?
within 20 days to explain the situation and have them give us the authority, get us out of this mess.
Does 20 days give us enough time? What's the posting notice and all that?
7 days.
So do we do this at the next select board meeting? Is that what you?
Well, I just said, I threw 20 days out there because I wasn't sure on the days we needed. It could be, I said 20, we want to go 10, 8.
When's our next?
21st. No,
February
18th.
18th.
February 18th. What's today? 4th, yeah,
Fourth.
4th, yeah, so the 18th.
No, wait a minute,
So we have time.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
We could do it as early as next Wednesday and as late as whenever.
But at this point, do we want to do it on the 18th? Call Sam and get it in the paper, or get an ad in the paper. Be on TV.
Post it.
Post it.
That's vacation week, so everybody knows.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
But,
I agree, it is vacation week.
yes, it is.
Yes, it is. So I don't know if that's a great week or not, so maybe next Wednesday or Thursday would be a better day to do it, just because it's not vacation week and people may be more available.
It's just shorter.
I know.
But I'm good.
Well, I made a motion, there hasn't been any vote on it yet.
Well, let's, before we take that motion, let's decide what that motion's gonna be, because you had started at 20 days, we're not sure if we're going 20
Okay,
days.
yeah.
So
I'll extend the days of it until
Yeah.
we figure it out.
Yeah, let's figure out when we wanna have the meeting and then do the motion. I know it's a little backwards, but for officially doing Robert's rules, you need to do the motion, then we'll debate it.
Now, will we have to have a public hearing?
No,
Okay.
no, we're not passing an ordinance, so.
It's a special town meeting with a vote,
With a vote,
and the vote would be by hand.
by hand, or it could be by paper in the box,
Okay. But it's done that night.
but it's done that night.
I mean, we can call Sam and get something in the paper, it's pretty easy, I mean,
Yeah,
we're gonna be on what TV, so there's another thing that,
right.
you know, we can, it's out there, it's something out there.
Yeah, and as soon as we pass the, as soon as you sign the special, I can put it on the website, we can, you know, we're doing all the things we need to do. It's not ideal. Part of me is like, I wanna get this done yesterday because this is, the other part of me is like, I wanna make sure we have every possible answer to every possible question that could be asked of us so that everybody feels comfortable that.
So that's where I was, but if we're there, that means we need to talk to the HOAs first. But I think that takes too long. I mean, that's where when I started, that's where I was. I wanted to go with his option 1, his option 2, his option 3. Happy to hear any others, but what do you guys think? But we're not there yet.
We will never be able to do that. Like, you have to have, like, you have to have, what do you want us to do with this situation? Here's option 1, option 2, option 3, and then they can vote on those options. But you will never be in a position to be able to add options on the floor of town meeting. So if this doesn't pass, and they say, that's too broad, we don't want to give you the authority to just do whatever you gotta do, then we're gonna have to rethink things and come back and talk about more specific action for this.
So let's pick the day that we think would be the most likely to get some attendance for a special town meeting. And based on past history, I think we're in trouble.
Yeah, I agree. We gotta do what we gotta do.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that,
You know, we might wanna have a alternative date if we get a storm or something.
You can't do that.
Can't do that?
No. Once you post it, you have to hold it, or you have to have somebody there with enough people to open the meeting and then adjourn the meeting to the next day. We've done that before too.
so, options are the 18th, which is our next select board meeting, which is 2 weeks. Plenty of time, it is vacation week. Next week, I don't think, is there anything going, does the planning board meet, or does anybody meet next week? For anything that we would be in? I don't think, we'll do it here, right? I don't think we're gonna need to go to the Grange. I don't think we're gonna need.
That's why I left I underlined the things or highlighted the things or bolded the things on this that I think we need to digest before.
Where are I aiming? What
Special town meeting, Tuesday, February blank. So,
Okay.
and then at the Newrytown office, that's underlined because I need to know if that's what we're doing. And then whatever day, if it's gonna be Tuesday or Wednesday, February something. And I put 6:30, but I don't know if that's a good time either. And they'd be acting upon a moderator and then the question.
Yes, sir.
Just a question, you may want to have ready the verification that this was changed in the date.
What was changed?
That you don't have the right to sell tax, property that's, I'm unclear as to how come we're in this situation. You know what I mean?
That should be some of the facts that they come up with on the, going back.
So, are you asking, the board has the authority right now to dispose of tax acquired property, but it has to be for no less than what the principal is, the interest, and the cost. And I don't know that we're gonna get that. So that's why we have to go back and ask the voters for a different scenario for disposition of tax acquired property, because if we can't get what is owed to the town for the back taxes, we need to know if the town's okay with us getting whatever we can, so we can get it into somebody's hands that will pay.
I understand that part, but you started off the conversation referring to something that was changed at some date in the early 2000s.
Oh, so do you remember when the town chose to stop foreclosing on the timeshares?
No, but that's the part that you should be clear before you even go there.
So that's, the change, Brooks, is the town voted not to take them back. The mistake, not the change, the mistake is we did. So that's done. And the vote that we took, we couldn't take because, well, I guess we could have, yes, we could have. So the town voted not to take them back. We took them back because we didn't stop the lien process. Good
Yeah.
timing.
I
So that's,
understand that,
right.
but there was an indication that before we were able to do something and now we're not because of a change that was made at some date. Isn't that how?
I think that is the, going back in the records and find out what year and date, or what town meeting
What exactly we voted on.
voted on it.
Exactly, that's what
Well-
I think.
She's got that on her list of things to do.
So that, the change you're talking about, or the new information that we have that we didn't know before, we thought if we took them back, we'd have to pay the HOA fees. We do not. That's not a change, that's an awareness,
Okay,
right? I mean, nothing changed, we just didn't know that. So there's, and, you know, semantics, right? There's what changed, even though it didn't change, it's just, it was our lack of knowledge. But right, we gotta get the town to, you know, imagine coming in cold,
Yeah,
to try to figure this all out.
right. That's, and I'm okay with that, that's the struggle where, cause and I don't wanna say that, I keep saying it cause I think I'm minimizing it, but it is really more complex than a lot of other things we do here.
I can understand that.
And I'm required to lien the properties so that we can ensure payment. And I learned that the only way you can stop a foreclosure is to issue a waiver of foreclosure. And I've never done that. I've been doing this for 13 years. Or you cannot lien them. And in my prior job, we just did not lien the property in which we said we weren't gonna foreclose. So a bill got created and,
But doesn't
and-
that go against state statute?
yeah, but that's the way they did it. I never signed off on a waiver of foreclosure.
But statute says you have to.
Yep. Mhm. Yep.
It's just one more complication
Yeah.
one more layer to this friggin' onion that never seems to end.
Yeah. But once you start a lien, once you have issued that lien, it automatically forecloses. So,
Unless you do the waiver,
unless you do the waiver,
which happens after you start the lien.
yes, yes. So you have that 18-month window from the time you lien it to the time it forecloses to issue that stop foreclosure notice.
So there is the one piece that the town could have lived up to the town vote saying, don't take them back. Kept the tax collector out of jail because the tax collector did their job according to state statute, and we didn't take them back. So we could have done that.
Yeah.
We'd still have $50,000 worth of
Yeah.
unpaid taxes. You know, so it doesn't fix any of that, but.
Well, I think we would have been in a worse situation if we had followed through and done the waiver because we would have had no ability to sell those properties. And the ownership of those properties would have been in limbo.
Right.
So
in one way, we got lucky.
in one way, we got lucky because at least now we can address the issue, possibly get somebody to own these units that are willing to pay their taxes, and that's in the benefit of the town.
Nobody did anything malicious.
No.
Nobody did anything that's, you know,
you're in trouble for. No one's getting written up for doing something wrong. Fact is, we did something wrong. So, but it was, and I know lack of knowledge is not an excuse, but it was lack of knowledge. I mean, it's like, back to your complicated, it's complicated.
Yeah. I always tied the two together. If you didn't send out the notice, if you didn't let them know that you were foreclosing, like that kind of stops the foreclosure. I always tied the two together, and then I learned this week that no, it doesn't. It ties the hands of the town to be able to dispose of it.
So we're an hour and 5 minutes in, and we're trying to come up with a date for a town meeting. Let's focus on that for the next couple and see if we can figure out when we want to do the two options are to try to pick a day next week because it's not vacation week, or do it during the vacation week, which gives us a little more time, but maybe a challenge for people to come. Whatever you guys want to do is then think and finish his motion.
With no more kids we got in school, is it gonna make a big difference with the vacation week, I wonder?
What's it for you guys? So everybody's here on the 18th? Did that screw you up, Gary? You guys going away or anything?
I know my kids, grandkids are gonna be up here, but, do something during the day and come to the town meeting at night, it's not, you do what you gotta do.
Right, but it's easy enough to also do it next week. I don't know.
It makes no difference to me,
Right.
are we gonna have time to get all of our facts and figures together for next week?
I think they've done, I think it's this thing.
I think it is too, but we got some other information that we need to come up with.
Yeah, I don't think it's
But
gonna
it
take
shouldn't
us
be.
a great deal of time to go through town meeting and see, okay, when did we
do it?
do it?
But this special town meeting is only talking about this. We are not talking about how we do these taxes going forward at this town meeting.
No,
Yeah, and let me be really clear, this is a very broadly written article that says tax acquired property, the disposition is up to the selectmen and whatever they feel is the best interest of the town. This isn't just quarter shares, this is all tax acquired property.
And we could narrow this at that meeting. We could amend this at that meeting to say, tax acquired quarter share, get what you can get. Or we could write it that way.
You can write it that way.
You can't amend it at the,
No,
You
we
can
don't
only
have to.
amend dollars, can't amend language on open town meeting. So-
that's not dollars? That's
No.
what we're talking about,
We're
right?
not, yeah, we're talking about process, Jim, we're not talking about actual.
Okay, so before we go there,
Mhm.
let's stay focused on when we're gonna have our meeting, then we'll go there with what we want the thing to say.
Well, we're gonna have a town meeting on the 18th, we're gonna have a
selectmen's
selectmen's
meeting,
meeting on the
yeah.
18th. So, let's just do it then.
Okay,
Okay,
So
Okay.
6:30 on the 18th?
6:30 on the
You want a
18th?
motion for that?
Yes,
I make a motion that we hold the special town meeting on February 18th at 6:30.
I'll second that.
All those in favor? So moved, hallelujah, we got one done. So now, Amy's given us a pretty broad warrant article. Do we want to modify this warrant article to say whatever we can get for tax acquired quarter share?
yeah, we only have 3 other properties.
Say that again?
We only have 3 other properties that are,
She's got it all tax acquired.
yeah, there's only 3 other,
Or do we want to do it as all?
We've gotta address that at some point, let's just do it and get it over with.
We'll put it in there so we got the right to do what we think is right with those other 3 pieces of property.
yeah, I just want to be really transparent about this. Like, this is broadly written so that the select board this year, well, until June 30th, will have the ability to dispose of tax acquired property as they deem advisable, which, or we could write it as they deem is best interest of the town.
I would say his best
Interest of the town.
interest of the town.
Okay. 18th, Tuesday, that's a Tuesday, 6:30 o'clock. Yep, we're good. Tuesday, which is the 4th. Okay. All right,
We need to sign that.
I have to change it, so I need you to, make a motion to sign the special town meeting warrant with those changes. Which is on Article 2, it will say, as they deem in the best interest of the town.
Would just be in the best, I would drop the as they deem, it would just be in the best interest of the town, right?
And conditions,
See, the town will authorize the selectmen to dispose of tax-acquired property
and
on such
conditions.
items and conditions in the best interest of the town. For an amount that is in the best interest of the town. See, the town will authorize the selectmen to dispose of tax-acquired property on such terms and conditions as they,
Deem in the best interest of the town, or conditions for an amount in the best interest, I don't know. I don't think you have to. Put for an amount, I think you can just put conditions. I think it makes better sense if you say, in conditions as they deem in the best interest of the town.
right, so drop advisable and put in
Yeah,
the best interest, as they deem in the best interest of the town.
yeah.
Okay. So you want a motion for that?
Yes, please.
I'll make a motion that we accept the warrant for special town meeting as written with the changes.
As amended or
I'll
whatever.
second that.
All those in favor? Sorry. So we've done the town warrant piece. So we're discussing expense budget reports through January?
Yep.
You wanna run us through it, or how do we?
So, so there are some glaring, whoa, what did we do there? In the administration budget, legal,
Where are you, Amy? What legal is?
oh,
what
it's on
number?
page 1.
Yep,
Legal,
20.
accounting, we're over, legal, registry of deeds, we're over.
you're going too fast, I'm sorry. So where, give me a number. I'm in admin.
Go for, I
04.
believe.
So 04 is over, no, that's registry of deeds.
Yep. Legal is 20,
We're at what number?
Same
20,
20.
legal is 20.
yep,
So we're over,
yep,
legal expense, $10,000 is the net, is the budget,
yeah, we're 563.96 over.
over, okay.
Yeah. Accounting,
What's the number?
accounting's
Right
the next
under it.
one down.
Yeah, that's a bigger one.
Yep.
Why we off, is that the audit?
Yep,
Okay,
the audit and the forensic.
yep. Why is postage so high? Oh, it's not, never mind. Why is register of deeds so high? Back up to 04.
Because of the lien discharges, so it's kind of an in and out account, so we'll go back to liens. So when I lien you, I link you on your account, part of that cost that is so high when you look through here, like, gee, why is the cost so high? Well, the costs are the $19 per page that we have to, pay the registry of deeds to put it in the registry, and we charge that to the account. So when they pay it, we have to expense it somewhere, so we expense it to this, but really we have revenue coming in to pay for it. It's in and out,
Okay,
okay?
where else?
So it's kind of misleading, in a way.
Yeah, a little bit. I've talked to auditors in the past about like, can you just GL it because you have the money
Money's
coming in to pay it out, but they really prefer to expense it. So, that's that. Ambulance is, we're not quite there with
Where are
ambulance.
ya?
Oh, next one down.
Uh,
So you look at the little highlighted area, the shaded, no, we're going down to the next budget, sorry.
Okay, so hang on, we got
Okay.
miscellaneous with 2,800 over.
Yeah, and I need to change that because in the accounts payable system, it automatically, everything got, when I first got here, everything went to miscellaneous. So that's when I started making all these separate accounts. Well, our Staples accounts payable account still has miscellaneous, and we've just changed that over. Now I need to, so it goes to office supplies, majority of that money is office supplies.
Okay. And because we have a additional employee or additional, is that what that's?
Yeah.
Okay.
We had a lot of things that we weren't anticipating this year.
Okay.
Not
So
the
next-
additional employee, but the changeover.
Yep. So the next big one is FICA?
Yeah, so,
But that one only goes to the end of the year, regular year, right?
no, so FICA doesn't have any money in it. So we never budgeted any money in FICA. We budgeted FICA and Medicare. So the 7.65 amount is the total amount in the Medicare line, so,
So you gotta subtract the 9 out
Yeah.
of the 16 and we're actually okay.
yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
What's the 225 stipend?
That's a good question. I'll have to look into that. It's a bad account too. It's a BD. So I don't know, something had to have been coded incorrectly. I'll check that.
Okay. Capital improvement, that was the road?
No, that's everything. So that's the construction on the office, that's the barricades, that's all the office improvements that we were going to do. It has to get expensed somewhere, and we have a, we have a building reserve account that offsets this, so I'll have to do an offsetting adjusting entry at the end of the year. But I'd rather just do it once than,
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought the last time we talked about this, it was the road.
well,
Am I
some of it's the
incorrect?
road,
Some of it is.
but
Oh, it is?
some of it
Okay.
is the road, but not all of it, because we did pay David Berry for the materials.
Yeah.
And that came out of that account.
Okay. I thought the road ended, how much was the road over, do you remember? I thought that was the
Is there
number.
a section for roads in there?
I thought it was over like $4,000 or $5,000.
I wouldn't think so, because we had 2,500 there twice, or once was 2,500 and one was,
Could have been a little bit more, but
Yeah.
I know they paid Dave Berry like seven.
Might have got 8 to 10 over.
Okay, all right. Yeah, it's fine. I thought that's what we were over,
Mm-hmm.
but,
So, you know, I mean, maybe I'm looking at my crystal ball and I'm seeing things I don't need to see, or I'm conjecting things. We only have enough money in the cemetery fund to mow once. I don't have a lot of snow right now. That might be a problem.
we only mow the cemeteries once last year?
We only mow them once before July 1st.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think we blow that up when we get there, Randy.
Yeah, okay. Just
Yeah,
letting you know.
that's my thought on that, you guys, because we're not gonna
Yeah,
have
I
money
think
to it
you're
now.
probably only looking at 2 times before July 1st, because the grass don't grow very good on these cemeteries here.
Right, well, and who knows what's gonna, I mean, who
No,
knows
that's
what
true,
the
I
rest of
mean,
the
it could
winter's
be an
gonna
early
bring.
spring, we don't
Yeah.
know that till we get to it, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, who's the kids is 500 over?
So that's a miscoding too, $500 of, so I paid, I think we've talked about this in the past, but Mahuza Kids asked for $500 towards the swimming lessons for the newer kids. And we did not budget for that, but we had talked about it like late summer about paying them, so we didn't budget for it, so we kind of have to pay it somehow, and that's how I paid them. This year we have to budget for it. And I think that there's gonna be more changes with the rec department as well, because the rec department needs to pay it.
Yep. So Windy Valley is $5,000 that we haven't spent yet. That's a snowmobile club, right?
Yep, we gotta pay them.
Okay.
Usually we wait for them to ask, then we pay them. Because we usually pay these out in August. Nobody was here in August.
We haven't hit any contingency stuff yet.
Mm-mm.
Risk pool insurance went up. I'm on insurance number
Yeah.
13.
So that's a calendar year expense, and they do increase their premiums sometimes, so we gotta make an adjustment. But we get a dividend check from them to offset some of that, so.
So, utilities, municipal building number 10.
Mm-hmm.
Utilities, we got $4,400 that we haven't spent. But then we have electricity, heat, phone,
Mm.
what?
So the utilities line is the top one, and you add 2,800 plus 4,000 plus 3,500, and I believe it comes up to that.
Oh, that's a combined.
Yeah, that's a combined. Fire department's doing excellent. Bravo.
Yeah.
Just read it.
Is the sanitation gonna catch up to us? Yeah, we've only spent-
So
we've spent 50%
here's
of
the
it.
thing with, we don't usually get the bills for sanitation until, oh, we're gonna be over, would be my guess. Because, I think we may have just paid December's bill. They don't bill us timely. Or they're usually a month to 2 months behind.
So we're right at the 50%.
Yeah, and I don't know if we even got December's bill yet.
You gonna do anything with the tax maps?
That doesn't happen until April.
Okay.
Tax maps are always, go to Tommy Tippy and then they bill us usually April or May.
Why is Windy Valley in twice?
Because they asked for a donation and then we give them all of our snowmobile registrations as well.
So the 5,000, but it's the same number twice.
Yeah.
So we're just assuming which was the first one, the snowmobile donations?
Yeah. And then we give them the snowmobile registration fees as a part of our town meeting warrant.
That's the first one.
No.
That's this 5,000?
Mhm.
So that's-
Yeah, we assume
yes.
it's gonna be $5,000, sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less.
You know, 100 snowmobiles I registered is gonna go back to the club.
That's right. Yeah, your $4 agent fee goes back to the club.
You guys got any questions on it? Gary, you good?
Good.
Bank reconciliation and tax reconciliation process.
Yes. So I wish I had the bank reconciliation, but we're through July, we're off by a bit, we're looking for
Is
about
that-
$100.
Is that this, Amy?
Nope, this one's tax.
Okay.
So
is
yeah,
there
I
any-
haven't given you the bank.
I don't have anything in front of me.
You don't have anything
Right.
for the bank one.
Right.
We just talked to RHR today because we've been trying to get a hold of them for a week. And I think we're in a better search pattern for why we're off, but we're off by $100, 158 something. For July, and we're processing August to see if maybe it catches up, like it might be a deposit in transit or something along those lines.
Yeah.
So the good news is for tax refund for 2020 is that we're on because we did, so we're off by this 187.42 amount, and that kind of falls all the way through until November because we had to do a fix to an account and it didn't catch up until November. Don't look at September's because we didn't close out on the last day of the month, so we were off by that whole deposit, pretty much.
So bank reconciliation, we're $100.
Yeah,
Next subject, tax reconciliation.
tax reconciliation.
Gotcha.
We're on
All right,
tax
sorry.
reconciliation. Sorry.
You lost me
Catching up with
there.
me, I'm sorry.
I'm catching up.
All right.
So tax reconciliation is off by,
Where we have more money that we've collected in cash than we actually have. We have more money. We have collected more tax dollars in our GL than we have in collections. So that's how when you reconcile taxes, you're looking at, I have a tax GL for every year that we have taxes. And then we have a collections module, and the collections module is the one that processes the liens out. So, we're off about $734.68, and we've been tracking that dollar amount for the last 3 months. So we're being vigilant.
so, simple terms, we've collected $734 more than we've taxed.
No. There is a tax amount for $734.68 on the list in the collections module. That shouldn't be there. We need to remove it. We gotta figure out where it is. And we're thinking, because of the way that you have to do this is an as-of date, so it's as of the last day of the month, that there may have been a correction or a reversal of a payment that won't get caught up until that month. So that's where we're at. We've gone over this with the auditors as well last month, and she said we'll be diligent if we track this all the way through June 30th, then we'll have to look hard. Any other questions?
Yeah, this is, yeah. So,
Confused.
yeah.
Yeah.
So the first three documents I'm looking at are 3 years of non-lien taxes.
Right.
The next documents we're looking at are
Liens.
liens. We haven't done any 2020 liens yet, although
Right.
2020 started July 1,
That's correct.
but we haven't done any yet.
We won't do any lien, we won't lien 2020 taxes until probably July.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as of this, we have $10,000 worth of lien out there? Is that, am I adding these? I just don't know what I'm looking at, I'm sorry.
Okay. Non-lien, non-lien.
The title on the thing is Tax Recon 219 Lien.
Yes.
July is 0, August is 13, September is 11,
Yeah.
October is 11. But is that, am I adding those together?
No, I think the middle one is the one that you need to really look hard on, is what we have in the general ledger is the GL column, and what we have in collections is a different module in our system. And ideally, they're gonna be the same exact number, and the difference will be 0. We've talked about this pretty consistently, we still haven't finalized all of our numbers in our new version of Trio from our audit, and I think our beginning balance numbers are wrong. So that's why we can't really make any sense of what's going on with these GLs. Because a lot, when we do beginning balance adjustments from the auditor, they usually affect tax accounts.
So bear with me. Are these totals, are they total, or is it as of December 19th, 69,000 on the GL? That's it. It's not 85 plus 76 plus 73.
So,
On the GL, we have 69.
Right.
So it's not,
So these are amounts that need to be collected.
is it 69 or is it the combination of the list?
So I'm going to tell you that I think we have outstanding taxes of $69,076.96, and I say that because when we go through, every day we create an audit report, and we're verifying that audit report to that GL, and that's the amount of money that is coming in, and that is what is being posted to that GL, and we have verified those numbers every month. So that is the outstanding taxes for 2019, is $69,076.96. Now, the collections module is saying we have obviously a lot more, which is a $10,000 difference. $10,973.80.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm saying, I'm 100% sure that the GL is correct and that there is something we're missing with.
So we're trying to collect taxes we're not owed.
Yeah. That's right, yeah, which is a real, this doesn't scare me as much because we've already leaned these. It's the current year when you're way off and you go to lien people that have already paid their taxes. That's a serious issue.
Well, but in 2019, we've leaned $10,000 more than, oh,
No. No. No, and I know that's not true because as of June 30th, all of these liens were on. They were 0. And we did that for the audit. That's why I'm saying I believe the beginning balance adjustments that need to be made will make this a lot clearer. But I promised you I was gonna bring you something, and I'm bringing you something, and you're confused, and
yeah, and we need, so what I struggle with, it's hard, like when there's an Excel spreadsheet that's thrown down in front of us without a, hey, here's what it is. I mean, I don't know how you guys are, but that's, like, I didn't realize I was looking at some were lean and some weren't lean. It just takes me a minute to
Yeah.
process all that. So what would be easier for me is, here's what, maybe don't even put them out at the beginning. Maybe we hand them out and go, okay, this is what this is.
yeah,
This is what this is. If you want to send it before,
okay,
I'll do my best to try to read it.
yeah.
But I just, it's hard to pick up a piece of paper and go,
Well, you've never
oh, I
s-
see what I'm saying, I know what I'm looking at.
So I think in the future, you're gonna see these every month. And you're gonna be like, oh, yeah, I remember this from last month. I know what we're looking at, but I've been here for 4 years and you've never looked at
No,
this.
we haven't looked at any of this, we haven't looked at any of the numbers, we just assumed it was happening.
Right.
Right, and it's good that you're, we're gonna check it, and I'm not trying to be difficult, but I have a very hard time when I can shuffle numbers with the best of them. You know, but it's,
Especially when, well, they're probably correct, but they're not, because the beginning balance or something was different. So
Yeah,
we really don't have,
yeah,
so these numbers really, I guess,
I know
They're
that
real.
that first column's correct. And we verified that first column by a lot of work of going through every single day that we did, cash receipting for the whole.
this is the first column in the tax
the GL,
reconciliation lien.
It doesn't matter, they're both the same. So if you look at the non-lien or the lien, the first column is
the GL.
the GL. Yeah,
Right, but. So one goes back, one goes up, one goes down. I'm looking at tax reconciliation 2019 non-lien.
yeah,
The top number in the GL as of July
yeah, because we hadn't leaned them yet,
says 108.
right,
July here is 0.
right, because we hadn't leaned them yet. We didn't lean them till August.
So what's the same?
I'm sorry, I've missed,
So, I thought you just said that if you look at it doesn't matter if you look at the lien and the non-lien, it's the same. But when I look at the lien and the non-lien, they're not the same.
okay, so when I say this is the same, this is the GL. So this non-lien is a separate GL number than the lien GL. But this is our GL. Our GL is what all of our cash receipting, so when we cash up every day, it posts to these accounts. There's two separate accounts, one's for taxes, regular taxes, that's what they call it, regular taxes with an R, and then an L tax, which is a liened account. So when you lien them, they all go over to this lien account.
Should these tie somehow?
No. No.
Those two numbers are never gonna probably be the same anyway.
Yeah, and usually you're off by the costs. So, yeah. So when you, specifically for liens and stuff, if you're off by the costs, you're off usually on, because sometimes when you do a fix, like you have to reverse a payment because the payment got applied to the wrong tax year, and you hit the reversal, and it should have affected principal, costs, and interest, it went all to costs. Found quite a few of those.
Does stuff carry through from year to year?
There'll be adjustments at the end of the year, but yes.
So, in 2019, tax reconciliation, non-lien, we were off by $111.
Non, 2019.
2019, non-lien, as of December 19th,
Mm,
and I shouldn't be, I'm going the wrong way.
yeah,
As of July 19th, we were off by $2,300.
yeah, and then you had costs of $2,300. So technically, you're really off by, $12. I don't understand why she has 4,630.88.
It must be formula
Yeah,
error.
so you're off by $12.
Okay, so we started 2020 off by $12.
Yeah. Less than that, but yeah.
Then I go to July 19, 2020, and I'm off by $187.
Yeah, that was the beginning balance adjustment that the auditor gave us, and I think it might have been should have been a credit instead of a debit. And we carry that all the way through, because in November, so what happened was we had,
So before you go, why isn't it $12? If we ended the year off 12, if I'm looking at it,
this is a
so,
whole different tax year.
right, but that was my question, but it carried through. So we ended the year off $12.
Mm,
In 2019, July of 2019, we're off by $12.
mm. Yeah,
We started 2020, and it looks like we started 2020 in July 19th. We're off by $187.
so at the top, it'll say tax recon year of 19. And then here is tax recon year of 2020. So they're totally two different tax years, they're two different commitments. I won't give you this anymore.
We should understand it. So,
So every
so I
year,
do a checkbook ledger.
Yeah.
At the end of January, I have $10 in my checkbook.
Yeah.
I start February with $10 in my checkbook.
Mhm.
Is this not the same thing?
So this is just the opposite. So when I commit taxes for $5,400,000 and whatever $1,000, I have, okay, I need to collect $5.4 million. You come in and you pay your taxes for $5,000. You come in and pay your taxes for $10,000. You come in and pay your taxes for $10,000. So now I've reduced my liability of collecting those taxes by $25,000.
Yep.
Okay? So in a real world, the GL is gonna say that $5.4 million and you've received $25,000, so now the tax liability for 2020 is $5,300,000, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So, and then for a collection, so to bill, the billing side of that is in collections. So this is my receivable side, this is my billing side. They need to match.
Right, it's
Right,
T-square accounting, right? It's
Yeah.
accounting 101. You know, you got the T, you've
Yeah.
got one side, you add the other side, at the end of the day, it's all zero.
right. Sometimes it's not. And sometimes it's not because of the system. And sometimes it's not because there's errors. And sometimes we struggle to find out why it's not.
Is this stuff we're supposed to know, or is this stuff we're getting an auditor to tell us?
Would never know this. But I'm telling you, hey, this didn't happen for a long time. And now we want you to help us stay accountable that we're actually doing it. So I'm telling you that GL number right there for tax recon, that's what we're trying to verify too, because I know that number is correct. I know the beginning number was correct, and I know that we've received payments and we've verified those payments to that GL. So I need collections to meet that number.
You're trying to be more transparent.
I'm trying to be more transparent, but it is not, this is
To a
a,
normal, not, maybe not a normal person, but to somebody that doesn't go through all of this,
right,
they're just numbers.
yeah.
And we're not gonna understand it. A lot of it, because we're not accountants.
We're not either.
No, but I
you
mean,
know,
but you're taking these all out of like Trio or whatever the system is. So,
right.
I always relied on the audit to tell us the auditors come in and tell us that our books are better than they're the ones doing the math, they're the ones that are balancing the checkbook. Is that, and I know this isn't the checkbook, but call this the checkbook, they're the ones that are balancing the checkbook.
This is your main source of revenue to the town. Taxes are your main source of revenue to the town. So we need to, and as the tax collector, as I cringe, I want to make sure that when we have to send out those notices, we're sending them out to the right people. And doing this helps us make sure that we do that.
Right, because we don't want to lien somebody's
That's
property illegal, or not illegally, incorrectly.
That's right. So, This is a tool that we use to, A, keep track that, hey, yeah, this is what we have outstanding for taxes. We're on track, we're not on track, what's going on? And that when we have liens, that liens are being discharged in a timely manner, and we know that that's going on as well.
So, and you guys speak up, I mean, I feel like you're doing all the talking here, but this doesn't help me at all. That doesn't help, I mean, I'm glad to have the numbers, but you could change them all, and I have no idea whether they are correct, incorrect. You know what I mean, I can't make it, I can't do the math. I can't go home, put it on a spreadsheet and make it do the math. You know, I don't know what I'm looking at. Is there a better way, is there a different way you can present this to us that we would understand? Here's what's missing, here's what's, you know, we're supposed to have collected $100 in taxes, we collected 110, or we collected 90. Is that, I mean, is there a better way for us to look at this? If you guys are good with this, we'll keep going here, but I have no idea what I'm looking at.
I'm not too sure that I am either, but,
But no, she had to start somewhere though, to show us. I mean,
I don't
so
know.
maybe, we're not gonna pick this up the first time looking at this, that's for sure. But maybe as
So,
we
and
go
I
down.
think that part of the confusion is that we're looking at, you know, 2020 is regular taxes. This is our current tax year, so this is what we need to be collecting, okay?
2020, which started in August of 2019,
July, but yeah.
July of 2019.
So we committed taxes on July 30th, and we're, you know, moving forward, we're tracking to see what, in our collections module, it shows that we have.
And I think you've got us deep in the weeds, and what I'm asking is, the weeds are for you guys.
Okay,
We need to understand, we have a problem, or
okay,
we don't have a problem, and the problem is, you know, X amount of, I mean,
I don't think we have a problem with 2020 taxes. I think we're doing well,
okay,
okay?
but we still don't have, we got 2019 issues that we need to address?
I think that once the audit is finished and I have the journal entry from the auditor to do the beginning balance adjustments, we'll feel whether or not we have an issue. I think that we have, I think that we'll have an adjustment that's gonna come through from closing out the books last year to the beginning of the books this year that hasn't happened. I think that will clear up a lot of this.
So, we're 7 months into the year?
Yeah,
8 months into the year?
yeah,
How come that hasn't happened?
because they were here a month ago.
So do we need to change that?
That's pretty normal.
Is it?
Pretty normal. When we were a calendar year, they would come right away because we kind of had to have something for a town meeting, and now we're with everyone else, like all the school districts, and there's only so many auditors, and they're coming when they can fill us in, and
Yep.
as long as we have an audit for the town report, which we'll be printing this year in April, then I'm okay with that. I've already been in contact with them and said, hey, I need these beginning balance adjustments, because it is holding us up with tax recon. It is holding us up with bank recon. We need to have a better feel for that.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, the further away it gets, the harder it is to put it back together,
Right, and yeah, absolutely, and we're trying to do, because I'm like, we gotta, not only, we're all new to doing it, so we need to learn how to do it, and if we have issues, where to look for it, and that, we're certainly doing that, but it almost feels like it's a needle in a haystack, because I don't even know if that beginning balance. This isn't an easy, taxes and liens. Taxes and liens.
Yeah, just, you asked us to help you hold yourselves accountable, which I appreciate and want to do. But like I said, those sheets are great. I'll go home, build some, bring them in, I'll show them to you. You know, but, and I do it to people all the time. I build spreadsheets and people look at them and go, what the hell you do, what is it?
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense to me.
Right.
Because, I mean, if you guys ever deal with Excel, you build on. It makes perfect sense to me. I could show you every penny.
Right.
But if you're just looking at it, you have no idea what you're looking at.
Right.
So how do we, and maybe the auditors can help us with, hey, here's what you want to present. Here's what will make,
Okay.
here's what will, you know, here's what they should understand. Here's what any select board should understand. Anybody who walks in off the street and says, what's the number? You should be able to hand them something and they should be able to understand it.
Okay,
So, because we get all the math. The math is the easy part,
okay.
so. Is that right? Anything else on that? Consider and discuss finalizing assessing services RFP.
I didn't give you another copy of it because you left with one and you told me you would proofread it for me.
Yeah, I have it.
Okay.
So, you guys read that?
I have no idea.
Okay. So you read that for the 18th. Can you remind us to read that for the 18th? Send us an email maybe on the 17th? Put that in your tickler file, is that okay?
Okay.
All right. On to our administrator's report.
Do you need another copy of that?
No, if you gave it to me, I should still have it.
Okay.
Yeah, let me look.
No, we need to discuss posting the roads, please.
Let's do that when we get to the code enforcement officer.
Okay.
All right? I got it written right here. Anything you want to point out, Amy?
Yeah. What do you want me to do? You want me to buy a new computer for the planning board, or what are we gonna do?
What's the question?
So, we signed the contract for AvCog so that they could provide planner services, and as a part of that, we said, well, you know, we'll try to teleconference you in instead of having to pay the mileage to have them come up.
Yeah.
When I had the IT person move the computer over, I said, can you look at the computer and make sure that it's capable of doing the teleconferencing? And he said that he can't even update it to 2010 version of Microsoft, which the 7 version is. So anyway, we need a new computer for the planning board.
Is that this computer?
Yeah. So, because everybody's updating to, 2010 or 11 version of Office, not Office, but Microsoft Windows, he can't get those desktops. It's taking 2 months or more.
Who's he?
Chris Sanborn, Modem Waves.
Who?
Chris Sanborn, Modem Waves, who's our IT person.
Okay.
Okay? So, the computer is not capable of doing what we want it to do, which is teleconferencing and people. So, in order for us to replace it, we can replace it with a laptop and he said about $750. Tink was here, so we had this conversation. So, I said, okay, but a desktop will take several months and the cost is roughly $400. So, I'd like to get the laptop so that we can get the planning board in a place where they can access their emails here as well as teleconference in Shelley. Are you guys okay with that? Or
We can't do it through GoToMeeting or any of that stuff?
the computer isn't,
Capable of it?
it's not secure enough. So I don't know, maybe you don't know this, maybe you don't. All of these computers were operating off of Windows 7. So Windows 7 is now obsolete. Microsoft is not creating patches
Right.
for it,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it is more susceptible to hacking and
Yeah.
phishing and all of that stuff. So I asked him, what do we need to do to get this computer ready to be able to teleconference in? And he said that the computer is not capable even to upgrade to 2010 Windows version. So the computer is obsolete. It's been here for as long as I've been here. How long have you guys been using before?
However old it is.
Yeah, it's old. Anyway, so we need to get a new computer. Problem with going with the cheaper version is it's gonna take 2 to 3 months to get that done. If you go with a laptop, which is $750, can be here next week.
What do you guys think?
Well, and they're in the same boat, they need it to do their,
Especially with all the new people and everything and
We still don't have a full board.
No.
yeah. But we've got that assistant which could be doing the on screen instead of coming up for a meeting.
And I would say probably 4 meetings would pay for itself. 4 or 5 meetings, just mileage alone, we'd be saving, not paying. It would definitely pay for it. So, it's up to you guys. I just,
where are we taking the money out of, from?
so the planning board does have a budget of like $800, and they don't usually spend too much of that. So there's that, and then just, we did set aside some money prior year's budget that got rolled over into the reserve for computers that we haven't purchased.
So if we make a motion that you just spend the $750 to upgrade the planning board's laptop,
Computer,
would that work?
yeah. Yes.
I guess I'll make that motion then.
I'll second it.
All those in favor? So moved.
And then, everybody get this email? I forwarded it to you.
Today?
No. On Tuesday the 28th. For
Is this-
Robin, the proposal. from the
I think I'm
town.
looking at the wrong email. So I got an email about the MMA, that's not the one?
No?
It's not the lien?
Yeah, it's right there.
All right. Okay, I got it.
Some of this was brought up at one of the other meetings we was at.
Oh, yeah?
I remember some of this being said. I don't know if those exact figures are out there, but some of this was,
Well, I forwarded the email to you guys as soon as I got it. But.
I couldn't have read it, now
Maybe,
come on.
maybe you've read it, and that's where you're getting this from, but,
I know I've seen this somewhere.
okay.
Looks like the school tax.
So, I got another email, oh, I'll let you finish it.
Yeah.
I bet it was in one of those other handouts
Yeah, it could be.
that we got the other night.
Yeah.
So the cut to the chase, asking the town to fund
to donate to the chamber.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I put in there, yep. Four towns received a draft proposal from the chamber to assist them in marketing the area to different visitors. Please see email sent to the board. So I know that she has asked when our deadline is for the budget, and thinking probably by the end of the month, I want all of the third-party requests. But I don't think that I think this needs to be a separate article, depending on how much. It's one thing that they're asking for $500 for, kids, but when you're asking for us to, and I'm not quite sure if she's asking for us to donate the money for an economic development position, or if it's for marketing. I'm a little confused as to what the money that she's requesting from the towns is going to. But I think I kind of want to get a clear vision from what you guys want. If you want me to talk to her about, okay, yeah, but you're gonna have to come and pitch this to you so that it gets on the warrant. And I think it needs to be separated from the third-party requests.
Well, all the third-party requests typically go individually and then we lump them, right?
No, they always go together.
Well, sometimes they won't.
No, they always, and the whole time I've been here, they're one article and they're separated out in a spreadsheet in the actual
Right.
town meeting warrant.
So, and correct me if I'm wrong, you guys, but they used to all go separate. And then we'd go to town meeting and someone would say, like, make a motion, we take articles 10 through 20 and we put them together.
Yeah.
Then we talked about, why don't we just put them all together? Because if we put them all together, we can still separate them out.
Yeah.
So they all go together and someone could say, make a motion, we move Article 15, which has got them all together. But I'd like to amend that to add this to that or subtract this to that, right? So it can all go in one with a still listed and we would talk about it.
Right. But we have in years past, like when a Mountain Explorer came to us and asked for $10,000 instead of $1,000 or whatever, when it was a significant increase, we separated it that first year so that we could have a conversation. We also separate the article for the cable television franchise fees because we used to have that in there and we give them a certain dollar amount and then they want all of the franchise fees. So in order to do that, we kind of had to have it as a separate article. So we've had history of doing it all kinds of ways. But I'm not super clear. I'm clear that she's going to ask us for our funds for this, whatever this is, but I'm not super clear what the purpose of the funds are for.
Looks like to me it's marketing.
So I'm changing subjects on you guys. What's chances of, prior to our meetings, us having all this information?
Yeah, I can send it to you.
Scan it, put it in one.
I did email you this. You had
I'm
that.
sure you, I'm sure you did. And I'm asking for a change, and it's not, but I'm feeling overwhelmed with all the information. And it's the first time we're seeing it. We're doing a shitty job with our homework. Because we leave here tonight, we don't think about it for the next 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever it is. So, is it reasonable to think that when the agenda comes out along with the agenda, because the agenda's out prior to,
Thursday.
the agenda's out on Thursday, so when the agenda comes out, all the attachments come to. And then, if you have an additional attachment, I'm not saying that means you can't come, something comes up on Monday or whatever, you can certainly bring it, give it to us. But, that's you guys, if we had this stuff on Thursday, we take time to read it, you got any questions, you can ask Amy prior to going, I don't understand, what am I looking at? And then when we come to the meeting, we can be a whole lot more efficient than we've been tonight, and, and go through our meeting. We're just learning as we go.
I think this is a whole separate unit thing than what, this should have been brought up in our big meeting that we had last Wednesday or whatever it was. I don't, yes, we're gonna go to the town people and ask for this, but this is something, I'm not sure about that whole thing anyway.
Yeah. Well, so,
So hang on, you guys,
Yeah, no, I- totally
Forget-
okay.
Forget this one for a second, just forget that one for a second. Do we wanna get information, and we can come back, we can talk about this, so let's finish this conversation, then we'll come back to.
The thing is, we do get information. She sends it along to us.
Right.
Oh, yep, there it is, and then,
But it comes pieces and parts.
right, but I mean, it's there. Whether I get it, if I got it for that Thursday before, I don't know if I'd look at it any quicker than, I've seen this somewhere.
I mean, if you guys are good with the pieces and parts, I'll try to do a better job of collecting it, but I'm struggling with the pieces and parts. Because I'm absolutely sure you sent this as Amy, and I know we were supposed to do our homework on the,
RFP or whatever it was.
yeah. But it all comes pieces and parts, along with, 100,000 other pieces and parts that come to us throughout the day.
I've thrown a lot of new stuff at you today.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and frankly, I'm overwhelmed.
Yep.
I'm overwhelmed, I don't like being overwhelmed, I feel very unprepared, and I don't like, we said we'd do this, we ran, we got elected, we took an oath, we said we'd do this, and we did this to the best of our ability, and I'm overwhelmed. I've been overwhelmed the past couple of meetings, I was overwhelmed when this whole, nope, we own them. You? All that stuff is just, I don't like feeling overwhelmed, so.
Maybe we just gotta pull back and not try to get involved in the 100 of things that are going on. I mean, we've got a lot of things that's been thrown at us, not just town stuff, but this whole extra committee meetings that we've got. I mean, and it being thrown in on her too, but I see what you're saying. But in some ways, we gotta start worrying about our own little town and not going on trying to make, I don't know if you wanna call it regionalization or, I just don't, I'm not sure that I'm ready for this yet. But, like they say, it's here. But would it be helpful to get, that means that she's gonna have to collect all this data and then, oh, it's Thursday, I gotta send this all out.
That's pretty typical of boards. I mean, that's pretty typical of how boards meet. Because I'm doing it for a living now, so if you're sitting on the Riverfront board, the executive committee a week prior to that meeting gets anything we're gonna talk about, they get a week to read. The board of directors, a week before their meeting, they've got everything in front of them that they can read, or not, but they've got it, but it comes in a package, I don't send it to them as I get it, I send it to them as a package. And in the past few selectors meetings, I've been overwhelmed with stuff, and it doesn't feel good at all, I'm sure it doesn't feel good for you. It's just they're uncomfortable, and there's no reason for us to be uncomfortable,
There's no reason for us to be here for 3 hours.
Right, right. We spent 15 minutes trying to pick a friggin' date.
Right.
I mean, we can get a lot more efficient. We can go through an agenda, we can keep it on time, where none of us are new at this. Not like we're rookies. Nobody in this room's a rookie, but we're just, and we don't have to solve this tonight, but I think we should consider,
You still having trouble with emails?
You have to come and get it. And
I
then look at it
usually, I
out.
usually stop in and pick up what there is here.
You remember to come visit me on Thursday.
you guys, we don't have to solve this tonight. I guess, maybe, can we make an agenda item for our next one of how do we want to get information?
I can just do it.
We
I
gotta
can just-
we gotta remember too, that we got that town meeting, so we've gotta,
Make our
how
agenda
much
item.
more stuff we wanna throw in there. I suppose,
I did this every other job.
You sent it all prior.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty typical of boards that that's how it's done.
Not only did I do that, but I gave them a synopsis and a recommendation on each one of the articles, so, you know, it's not unreasonable. I think we can do it. I think it'll be fine, it's just,
We can't keep doing this. We can't keep driving out of here after the selectmen meeting going, geez, what just happened? And if I'm the only one feeling that way, I apologize for that, but the past few meetings, I'm driving out of here going, what just happened? So if you're good going with it, Amy,
yeah, I'll give it a shot and we'll see how it goes, and if we need to make adjustments, we can.
Sounds good.
Okay.
So, David, we'll be looking for code enforcement reports on Thursday, does that work?
Sure.
Okay.
So everything that we're gonna discuss more or less is gonna be sent to us on Thursday.
Reports on Thursday, and Amy, I'd ask, you can scan, right?
Yeah.
So just scan it all in one big, so we're not gonna get an email with 47 attachments. We're gonna get one big scanned document that
Yeah.
we can print or read or whatever. Or, if you wanna do a packet for us, I mean, you'll have a hard packet when we walk in. If we wanna come pick that up on Thursdays before, we can do that.
Yeah, some of this I'll get on my phone and it's pretty difficult to.
You can't read on your phone.
You know, and then I don't look at it again when I get home, like, gee.
You really wanna make a spreadsheet that's confusing, put it on the phone, try to read on your phone.
No, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Sometimes,
Yeah.
But if you're gonna have to have the packet together, so you have to scan it, so just have
Yeah.
3 packets, and, I'll take mine by email, because I'll just take it and print it,
Yeah.
so I can read it. It's a little more commitment for us to do our due diligence. But, and Amy, throw the RFP in again, if you would. Anything else on the administrator's report? We'll talk about this one the next time. After we get a chance to figure out what it is that he's asking us.
Well, so to get back to it, she's supposedly giving us a proposal for a budget. Now, my thought process is if it's significant money, I think she should come in and explain it to the board.
What?
Maybe at the town meeting too.
Oh, yeah, well, yes.
Is it $50,000 a year she's asking for?
we don't know that.
We don't. She said she was gonna come up with some kind of formula based on evaluation, so let's just leave that hanging. And you should just sign that, please.
If you look at what they've got up at Rangeley, then maybe.
Yeah.
Right. Anything else on the administrator's report? Let's talk about the code enforcement's report, and then we'll talk about Poston Roads. David, anything you want to bring out to us? Oh, you've got Poston Roads right on your report.
Yeah. So if we wanted to bounce right into that, we could.
There you go.
Okay. It was discussed we should bring posting the roads to these nights, so that's why I put it on. I didn't know if you guys wanted to.
What's your recommendation?
Not yet.
Good.
So, I agree with what he's saying, not yet, but the water is piling on some of the roads, and it might be in your best interest to authorize him to do it maybe after the state posts, but it could be before the 18th. So, do you want to just chance it and?
Why don't we leave it up to his discretion?
So typically when we do that, we authorize the deputy road commissioner to post the roads after the state posts 26, or after at the same time the other towns are posting roads or something, but you're authorizing him to do it in a motion.
That's, I guess that's what I'm doing, yeah.
But I think your motion doesn't tie it to anything. Just-
Well, other than the fact that
We're
we're leaving it up to him
gonna
to
defer to
decide,
Dave, yeah, well, I'm good with.
you know.
Yeah, what Amy is saying is tie it to something. I'm frankly comfortable with, I don't know, we have to tie it. It should all work out anyways, right? I mean, it's,
Right.
I don't know.
But you
that
need to
we've
make a
got
motion to
any
authorize him to
big
do it.
operations going on like we have had in the past that I know of.
No, I'm not aware of any either. But that doesn't mean they won't want to spring out on us.
Oh, yeah.
So, yes, I want to say we've typically gone with when Route 26 has been posted.
So,
With the state post 26, that's pretty much covering the Branch Road and the
Yeah.
Wheeler Road.
right.
Right.
I mean, the only one road that would be Sunday River roads, that,
And
and
then
then we
Long Pine.
leave some of them before the skiway anyway, right? We give
We'll have-
exemptions.
We'll have Long Pine, then we'll have to give an exception for fields plumbing,
Yeah.
see how long time?
you know.
Yeah, we've posted Wheeler and Branch and Long Pine, given exceptions to fields, plumbing and heating, Valley View, Timberline, Greenbrier, Mill Hill, Mountain View, Deer Run, and Roderick Road and Sunday River Road after Monkey Brook intersection. I believe that covers all of them.
So I guess what I'm looking for is that you're gonna make a motion to authorize Dave to post the roads when he feels it's necessary to post the roads.
So make a motion to leave it to David's discretion to post the roads when he deems necessary, or when the,
State does.
or as the state posts their road, maybe.
Only be no later than when state posts.
Does that make sense?
Does to me.
Wanna second that thing?
Yep, I'll second that.
All in favor? So moved. Anything else, David?
I didn't know what you'd been hearing about hearsay over on, Sunday River Road. I forget the landowner's name, but across from Matterhorn. I sent them a letter back
Is that
in.
lot they're filling in?
Yeah, so I sent them a letter back in June 4th saying, I can give you a copy of the letter if you like, saying that they were doing activity within the shoreline zone floodplain, essentially over 10 cubic yards of fill in the shoreline zone and any amount of fill in the floodplain. They're two different ordinances, two different items. So, since then, it's cartwheeled into them hiring Mainland and coming to the board with a duplex development. But we've still got the problem of the fill in the shoreline zone. And I didn't know if you guys wanted to pursue any
It's
enforcement on
almost a
that.
floodplain, isn't it?
As I said, it's shoreline zone and floodplain.
Yeah.
The shoreline zone includes the floodplain in the town area. They were able to prove that the base flood elevation is above the floodplain is mapped. And so they're coming before the planning board, or I believe coming before the planning board to ask the planning board to send to the selectmen a change of shoreline zone map. So that still doesn't change anything pertaining to the fill in the shoreline zone. And if we want any enforcement action with that, depending on what the planning board comes up with in their dealings with them. I can't tell if they've pulled their application for duplex. Shoreline zone doesn't allow duplex in the resource protection district, no matter what. So they can't have what they're proposing. It is, you are allowed to put fill in. They did it without a permit. Still haven't gotten a permit for that. So I'm thinking, let's see what comes out of the planning board's action with them and see what the results of that is and see if we have to go forth with any enforcement with that afterwards.
So we talked about this before. Or maybe I was just part of the conversation, but I thought that they could, that lot would allow for a duplex. Where it is and where it says that you could put a duplex on that lot. But you couldn't do whatever it is they were trying to do, which was more than a, no, you could put a single-family house on that lot, but you can't do a duplex. Okay. So that's planning board issue, we're not worried about that. Question you're asking is, do we want to fine them for not pulling a permit for doing work?
Yeah, for the fill that put in.
Yeah, okay.
Basically, it was starting construction without a permit.
Right.
Well, no, the shoreline zone, table of land uses allow fill in the resource protection zone. Code officer for under 10 cubic yards is the permit giver, over 10 cubic yards, the planning board's the administrator or approval. So,
Do we know what they've done?
put in more than 10 cubic yards of dirt in the shoreline zone.
Okay, so that's the planning board.
No.
Yes, planning board would approve that permit if presented one. They've been presented with an even bigger project that would include the fill. So if they turn down, so if the planning board turns down or denies, I should say, the duplex permit, we will still have fill in the shoreline zone that the permit was never obtained.
So we ask them to take it out?
We could.
Or is that an option? What's your recommendation?
It is allowed. They are allowed to do it. Would you like them to come to the planning board for the permit for the fill?
And asking, but,
Yes.
so you're in my seat,
Would we have to-
you're in my seat, what's your recommendation? What do you suggest we do? You gotta pick, put this one on you, you gotta pick it, what's your suggestion?
After the fact permit.
Okay. So David suggested that was
Without pulling out the, and not pulling out the,
not making them fix it,
right.
yeah.
Well, not making them pull out the fill, but maybe grass and seed mulch it.
I was gonna say,
They left bare soil there
yeah,
all
what
summer
they left
long.
there, if the water comes up, is gonna wash into the Sunday River eventually.
Keep in mind that the professional land surveyors showed that that's above the base flood elevation of the Sunday River.
But I haven't seen,
Not flooded.
I've seen that on
It
the
might
water.
have flooded from other causes.
Okay, I've seen it in the water,
So you're recommending we ask them to come get a,
but after the fact.
after the fact permit?
Yeah,
Very
if
good.
their permitting process with the planning board fails.
And that's something that has to come to the select board? That's not something you can do, that's something that comes to the select board.
Well, I was asking
He wants us to back up his thoughts.
you, when this comes to a head, do you want to do some enforcement action on this piece of property?
But you'd be the guy doing it?
Yeah, but I need your backup.
Backing, yeah, okay, understood. You guys good with that?
Yeah.
Do we need a vote? Do we vote or-
So-
The state's not real fond on after the fact permitting, cause I don't know how much of that they do, I don't know if the town would get scrutinized by the DEP shoreline zone coordinator if we let that guy go. We have let people go before, and it hasn't been an issue. And they also have to go to DEP because it's the Natural Resource Protection Act. The DEP administers and enforces to put fill in a wetland. DEP may, I think they're looking for an after-the-fact permit from DEP right now also, and I don't know the status of that. So my suggestion would be, let's see what pans out with the planning board and go from there. The reason I say leave the dirt in, it's probably gonna be more,
Disturb.
right, more
Disturb.
impact to try and get it out of there than it is to
Right.
just seed
Right,
it and
yeah.
save it.
Yeah, we don't think it's bad
Apparently,
situation worse.
apparently DEP feels when they're looking at wetlands, that after Phil's been in it for more than, or 5 years or more, that it's no longer a wetland. I would think that would revert back to, yes, I would say the minute the dirt's there, the vegetation and hydraulics that qualified as a wetland, forested or fresh water, that it doesn't have that soil characteristic of hydrology anymore that would support wetland vegetation, such as the red maple, silver maple, floodplain forest, which is there now. Or was there before the area was cut and filled.
So what, do we need a vote? Are you good? So we're good. We're behind you. We're gonna wait for the plan board and we'll go from there.
Okay. Excellent.
Anything else?
No, not that's an issue, really.
Anything from the selectmen?
Yeah, let's adjourn.
Let's adjourn. Yeah, tough one tonight, you guys. We'll get better at it. We'll figure this out.
We've had a couple tough issues.
Yeah, yeah. But we can get better at it. So, look for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All those in favor? Hallelujah.
Right.